We are live. 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 Okay, guys. Welcome to the stream. Let's start.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in our eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up, babe. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna light it up.
Welcome to the stream, y'all. Welcome to the stream, y'all. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to today's stream, y'all. Welcome to today's stream. So, the game plan. So, right now we have some beginner-friendly array problems. We have some beginner-friendly array problems right here, and we're going to go through them now. Depending on where, depending on if we're going to be able to go through these array problems. If we finish all of the array problems, then we're going to, below this, there are some strings problems. So that's the next one we're going to. The next ones we're going to do if we get past through the array problems, but we will see. All right, y'all. So let's start with the first one. Let's start with the first one. Okay, let's see the first one. Find maximum element in an array. Okay, find maximum elements in an array. So let's say it's gonna be find max with our vector. This is a dynamic array. Okay, find max in the array, and then let's say, no, actually that's it. Okay, so what are we gonna do? First, we're going to set a answer, and by default this is going to be the first element of the array. Okay, guys, so array of 0, if you're a complete beginner to programming and you have not seen arrays before, array of 0, this means this is going to get us the first element in this array. So if the first element is 1, if the elements in the array are 1 and 2, this is going to give us this element, which is this is position 0, this is position 1. Okay, so why are we setting answer to this right now? Basically, what we are going to do, we are going to assume that the first element inside of this array is the largest element, and then if there's any element which is found which is greater than this element, we are going to set answer to that element. And when we set answer to that element, if there's any element greater than than that element in the array, which is answer right now, we are going to set that element to answer, and that's basically how this works. So what do we need to do? We need to write a for loop. We need to iterate through the array. Okay, so this I right here, this is basically going to be the position of an element in the array. So if we see out, let's say, array of I, we can see that all of the, oh, they just return, we need to return answer. Let's just see this. Okay, I need an array vector int r is equal to whatever this is, whatever this is, like this, and then find max r, and now the array should get printed. Find max for r. What am I missing? See out r of I. Okay, what? Okay, maybe if we see out this, we get 3. Okay, let's do it as void. R of 0. Let's do it as void. And let's just do this. Vector int r. Okay. Okay, what is happening? On that side, I have no clue why this is not answer. R of 0 vector int r, find max r. Okay, I have no clue why is this not printing r. Condition is wrong. Oh, okay. Okay, I have written and shift operator here. Okay. So this, yeah. Well, that's done. Okay, that's what was wrong. So we can fix this, and that is gonna give us. Okay, that gives us. Okay, this is how we iterate through an array. We do a for loop, and then the I is going to match each element inside of the uh, it's going to match each element inside of the array. So first, I is going to be 0, and this is going to give us r of 0, which in our case is 3. Then I, no, it's 0. Then I is going to be 1, and this is going to give us array of 1, which is 8, and so on until the last element. Now, but we do not want to see out the we do not want to print the array elements to the console. We want to get the maximum element. So what we're going to do, if the current element is greater than answer, then answer is going to be equal to the current element. So this is going to do, basically let's do the following. Let's take this array, let's take this, and we're going to draw it out in paint like this. Let's add some commas. So we are going to put this. So we're gonna say I equal this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. 4. Okay, this is index slash I. This is what this is. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 4. So first answer is going to be set to r of 0, which this is equal to 3. This is equal to 3. Здрасте, ама съм на живо, не мога да говоря. So yeah, this is going to be so because as we can see right here, the element at index 0 is the 3. And now basically what happens now, so we run a for loop. So for I, so for from I to size of to length of array. Okay, and basically on each iteration, so on each iteration if we check is we check if uh, the array of I is greater than answer. So basically if is current is element on current iteration greater than the one we already have. Okay, so yes, if yes, we're going to if yes, we're going to if yes, then answer will be equal to array of I, which is the current element. Else, if it's no, if it's no, we are going to do nothing, don't reassign answer, and we're going to continue looping. Okay, so this is basically how this works. This is basically how this works. All right. Okay. So, wait a sec. Where was I? Did I explain everything? So we set R to the first element, then we move from R to length of A. Is element on current iteration greater than the one we already have, which is answer, which is array of 0? If yes, then answer is going to be equal to array of I, which is the current element. If no, do nothing, don't reassign answer when looping. So basically, if no element inside of the array is greater than this one, then it's gonna remain 3. So if there's no element in here which is greater than 3, then the answer is going to remain 3, or the first element. Okay, and that's basically how that works. Now let me prove that this works by counting the maximum element in this array, and this should give me 10. Okay, there we go, guys. All right, and that's for that one. Now find minimum element. This is basically kind of the same. I'm even just gonna copy paste. This is basically copy paste, guys. This is basically copy paste. But we need to change only one, literally only one thing. Let's name this find min. We need to change only one thing. Now what? Now that I went to the previous explanation, what do we need to change? We do not want to get the biggest element. We want to get the smallest element. So what do we need to change? Okay, what do we need to change? Basically, what we need to change is this sign right here. Instead of saying if the current element is greater than answer, we have to say if the current element is less than answer. So what are we doing here? We are assuming that at first that the array of 0, the first element, is the smallest element. Then we go through all of the elements of the array. And if we find an element which is smaller than our answer, then we set our answer to that element. And this will check basically for every single element if answer is less than that is if answer is greater than that element. So if the element is less than the one we currently have, we update the one that we're gonna return as from the function, and that happens on every iteration. And that is basically that one. Okay, so here let's say we're gonna have a second array, and it's gonna be with these. And now I should get find min. We should get 1. Okay, let's just make sure this is on a new line so it's easier to see to read. Oh, now we get 1. Now if we press the original array, we're gonna get 3. Okay, and that's basically wait what? Oh, okay, it's 2. So 2 is the smallest element. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, so that is that one. Let's get the next one. Sum of all elements. Now, pretty sure I think there's a built-in function in C++, but we're gonna write it from scratch. So we're gonna say some array like this with array. We're going to say our total is going to be equal to 0. Then for each element in the array, we are going to add that element to our total. So at first, total is going to be equal to 0. Then when we add the first element, which is 3, total is going to be equal to 1. Now we're on the second iteration. Then the element which we are looking at is 8. So then total is going to be equal to 11 after adding 8 to 3. Then we're on the third iteration. So this we're at 2. Now this will become 13. 3 plus 8 plus 2, 13. Or 11 plus 2. Now fourth iteration. We have 13 plus 10. So 23. And final iteration. We have 23 plus 5, 28. So we should get 28 as the answer. 28. Okay, 28. Cout total. Oh no, not cout, return total. Okay, and now we should get 28. Should get 28. Uh, let's see, sum of array is going to be just array, and this is going to give us 28, or it should. Let's see. Okay, what happened? Sum array total 140. Oh my, oops. Okay, I was talking about 28 and I added 28 to the total. Instead we need to add every element to the total, and now we should get 28. Okay, there we go, 28. Okay, I'm even going to draw this. Okay, I'm going to draw this. So let's remove some stuff which we don't need right now. So where is the eraser? Okay, here it is. Okay, let's make it bigger and even bigger so it's easier to delete. Okay, so this is what we have. This is our array. At first, total is going to be equal to 0. And in the first iteration, when I is equal to 0, okay, then array I is going to be equal to 3. All right. Array of I is going to be equal to 3. So now we're going to say total equals total equals plus equals uh, array of I, which is 3, which is 3. And basically what is the plus equals? It's same as same plus equals is same as total equal total plus array of I. Okay, so this we basically shorten it a little bit. It's quicker to write it this way, but you can also write it this way as well until you get familiar with this. So right now total is equal to 3. Then total is equal to 2. Then I is going to be equal to 1. All right, and then array of I is going to be equal to 8. Okay, and now we are going to add 8 to the total. So we're going to say total plus equals array of I, which is 8. And now total is going to be total now is going to be 11. Total equals 11. And then I'm not going to write the until the end, but that's basically what happens. That's basically what happens. Um, that is basically what happens. So, okay, wait a sec. Basically, what happens? So, total, yeah, right now, and then we're gonna add 2, which is gonna make total 13. Then we're gonna add 10, which is gonna make total 23. Then we're gonna add 5, which is gonna make total 28. And then fi final answer is total equal to 28, like that. Okay, okay, guys, that one is done and dusted. That one is done and dusted. So let's go to the next one. Count even numbers. So this is also a very useful one to get a grasp of a few things. As you can see, we have the hint if x modulo 2 is equal to 0. All right, because every time, so this is remainder. So every time you divide a number x, if you divide it by 2, it's going to give a remainder of 0 if it's an even number. So even numbers are, for example, 2, 4, 8, 10, 16, 94. Basically, these are even numbers. When you divide these by 2, divided by 2 equals to no remainder. But if you divide odd numbers like 1, 3, 13, 17, what else? 23 by 2 is going to be equal to remainder of 1. Okay? And basically, so if the remainder is equal to 0, this is going to be true. If the remainder is equal to 1, equal to anything else, this is going to be false. Okay, and now let's do up the uh, increase your volume. I mean, your voice is very low. Increase the sound output, dude. Uh, this is basic. I don't have a built-in mic, and this is basically the best we can get. So Also, when you watch on Google, if you're watching inside of Google Chrome, it's gonna be quieter. But if you're watching from your phone, then it's gonna be louder. Or I'm gonna. So right now, man, I cannot change. I cannot increase the volume right now. But I will try to see what I can do with the for the next stream. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is from my microphone. I don't have a microphone. This is the built-in microphone in my laptop, so maybe that's why. Anyways, let's continue. So we need to want to count even in vector int r, and we're gonna have our counter, and we're gonna want to iterate basically, guys, for about a lot of these questions. You need for basically for all these questions, that at least these, you need to know how to iterate through an array. So this int is equal to 0, I is less than r dot size, and I is plus plus. Hello, hello, Gurav. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Gurav. Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the stream. How are you? How are you doing? Headphones, mic will help you. Okay, thank you, man. I'll see what I can do. I'll see, but I can't. I'll see what I can do. Thanks for the advice. Uh, so right now we want to have a condition. So only if actually there's two ways. At least what I know. I'm going to show you guys both ways of how to find out if a number is even. So actually, let's create another function called uh, bool is even int n, like this. So the first one is going to be return, and this 2 is equal to 0. And then bool is even 2 is going to be return return n and 1 equals 0. Okay, so this one I'm gonna explain in a bit. For now, let's use this one. Now I don't know how much actually how okay, for everybody who is in the chat right now, tell me how good are you at DSA right now? Have you not done any DSA? Have you solved DSA? Are you decent? Are you a beginner? Like, how far are you inside of your DSA journey? I would be very interested to know. Okay, so let's continue. So we have a separate function which checks if the number is even. So we're gonna just call if is even, and we're gonna pass that number, which is array of I, or the current number which we are iterating through. And if it is, we're going to increment our counter. Now this in C++ and in JavaScript, this is basically counter plus plus. This is the same as saying counter equals counter plus 1, but it's just a shorter way of doing it. Actually, I think this is also, it's not just a shorter way of doing it. I think it's pretty much, there's other there's other reasons why you do it, but that's I don't if that's the case, I wouldn't know. So yeah, that's basically that, and then we just have to return the counter, and that is gonna give us the answer. Okay, first day I have learned Java only. Hello, Toads, Toads official, Totish official. Hello, Totish. Welcome to the stream, man. Level zero. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. I have learned Java only. I mean, in Java, I'm pretty sure that class me. I'm pretty sure that in Java that you can also say plus plus like this. Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, is even, and then we should get the answer. Let's see. Okay, and then I'm gonna explain. If you guys haven't seen this, I'm gonna try to explain this as best I can as well. So right now, okay, let's comment this out. Comment this out, and this is gonna see out count even, count even in array, and this should give us 1, 2, 3. Should give us 3 before turn. Oops, okay. I have, yeah, I use JavaScript a lot, so I messed that up. In JavaScript, you can use 3 equal signs, and there we go, we get 3. So okay, now let's do is even 2. Let's do is even 2. Call me Parf. Okay, nice to meet you, Parf. Nice to meet you, man. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so okay, so where was I? All right, yeah, the is even 2. So this right now, let's add another even number, and this should give me 4 right now. Okay, there we get 4. So what is this? What is this? So, okay, let's delete all of this first. Delete all of this, and then we're going to look at and 1, okay? So what is n? Let's say n is equal to 4. And what it this and is something known as a bitwise operator. This is a bitwise, or is it? Yeah, bitwise. Yeah, this is a bitwise operator. So basically, just it's something like and in if statements. It's something like and in if statements. So basically, this checks if the last digit of the binary representation of n is equal to is 1. If the last digit of if the last digit of the binary representation of n, which is 100, is 1, then this means that the number is odd. If it's not, it means that the number is even. So right here, since this is the binary of 4 of 4. So basically, as we can see, the last bit in this one is 0. So this is not odd. But for a number like 5, 5 in binary is 101. So this is binary of 5. Okay? Okay, this is binary of 5. And as we can see, the last bit, so this is a bit representation of the decimal number, and we can see that the last bit here is actually 1. It is actually 1. So in this case, the number, we know that the number is odd. So let me even write this. So basically, this is how this looks internally, kind of. So basically, we have 100, and then here at the bottom we have 001. So basically, this is what happens kind of under the hood. So every integer is can be represented, every decimal integer can be represented as a binary, as a binary number. And so this is basically how the programming, I think this is how the programming language looks at things internally in binary numbers. And what happens here is the same as when an if statement. So this is, think of this as, this is the 0 is false and 1 is true. So 0 and 1 both need to be true. So is this true? No. So that's a 0. Then 0 and 0, is that true? No. That's another 0. Then 1 and 0, is that true? No. That's a third 0. And in this case, when we get an even number like 4, we can see that the result is 0. And that is why right here, if we say, let's say 4 and 1, this is going to give 0. And we are checking if it is equal to 0. And if it is, then that is why we return that it's even. Otherwise, otherwise, when we check for 101 and and 001, what are we going to get here? Let us see. Let me just move this and then move this as well. What are we going to get here? Well, first we are going to get, so as we can see, the 1 and 1 is 1. So we're going to get 1 like this. Then 0 and 0 is 0. Then 1 and 0 is also 0. But this is, we can see the number which we got from ANDing 5 and 1 is uh, on, we actually got a number. So in this case, this means that this number, uh, that the number n or 5 is an odd number. And that's why when this gives something that is not 0, this is going to return false. And basically, that's how we're gonna know that this number is not even, basically. Okay, I hope I kind of managed to explain that. Keep in mind, guys, I only the only topics that I kind of know right now in DSA are bitwise operations. I know also some recursion, and that is basically kind of, I mean, I know how to work with arrays and strings as well, kind of. Keep in mind that I'm not a DSA master yet, so take all of my explanations with a grain of salt, but I'm trying to explain what I know as well as I can, so it can be useful both for you guys and also from me, and also it can be useful a little bit for you and also a little bit for me. Because when you explain something, that is a very good way to cement your knowledge. Okay, so all right, so all right, that is that one done and dusted. Okay, done and dusted. Next one. See what is the next one. Okay, so we get that one. Now we have count odd numbers. Now, guys, basically we can just this is basically, I mean, I already explained it. This is basically the same question, but we just, instead of is even, we have to say not is even. Okay, we can literally just copy paste this entire function. We can call this count odd, and what we have to do is not, boom. So is even is going to return either true or false. When you say not of true, that is going to give false. When you say not of false, that is going to give true. And that is why this works, or it should work. It should work. Okay, so let's see out count odd and r. Now let's see, it should be 1, 2 should be 2. I misspelled R. Misspelled that. Let's run again. Okay, there we go, 2. All right, so that is basically that one done and dusted as well. Yeah, I don't think I need to. I mean, this is I already explained how the even and odd works. So yeah, I think that is okay to move on right now. Okay, so next one, and if you guys have questions, I will try my best to explain. I will try my best. Okay, so next one is find how many times a number appears. Okay, this one is also not hard. So let's get to it. So we have a target. Okay, so let's do int like this, and we're gonna say count n appear or something. And this is we're gonna have our array, and we're gonna have the target. Gonna have the target. Okay, let's say count target appear, since this is gonna be called target, and we just need to say counter. We need to loop through the array, and we need to say array dot size like this, and then we need to increment. So basically, if the the current element is going to be equal to target, we need to just increment the counter, and then we're going to return it. We're going to return a counter. So what is this, what is gonna so why does this work? Well, this works because of this condition. If the current element in the array is equal to the element that we want to count, this counter is going to increment, and if not, it's just gonna move on to the next element, and that is gonna happen until the end of the array. Okay, so that is basically okay. Now let's see out the count target appear, and then let's say R, and then we want let's say we want 3. This should give me 1. Also, let's comment these out. So I should get 1 right here. Okay, now let's say I add another 3. Now I should get 2. Okay, that seems to work. All right. So that one is done and dusted as well. So next one, check if array contains a value. So this time we're going to be working with a boolean. So that is vector int. Oh no, that's not that. That is, let's say, contains n vector int array, and then int target. We're gonna say uh, contains is gonna be false, and then let me show you guys another way of looping. So instead of writing type blah blah blah, you can write int number inside of array. So what this basically means, this is another way to loop. We can say basically we can name this whatever one. We can name it X, we can name it I, we can name it burger or whatever, but let's name it number, and then this is going to loop through all of to the whole array. Again, this is the same as using a okay. So it's not completed so it loops to the array, but sometimes you need to use an index, and in other cases you can just do this. So basically I do this when I don't need to use indexes, and then I do, and you can do this when you don't. Now you have to specify the type of the element in the array. So this is an element of integer. This is an array of integers. That is why we say integer right here. If we say, for example, char, that's gonna break. So let's actually if r is equal, if number is equal to target and contains equals true, and then we're gonna return contains in the end. Now, but this is a char, so this is gonna throw an error. So let's say contains n and then r and then whatever. But as we can see, as we're going to see, we're gonna get an error. We're gonna get an, where is it? Char number. Okay. So let's say string because chars basically have a ASCII table representation. We're not gonna go into that. If we say string, boom, now we get an error. So error conversion from int to non-scalar type string. So this is screaming because what, I can't understand that little C++ I'm beginner. So okay, bro, bye bye. I mean, okay, man. See ya. Have a good day, bro. Okay. So all right. So basically, this is we say that this element is of string type. That's why it's screaming. We need to say that this element is that this element is the type of the elements in the array. So we're gonna say int, and this should work now. And also we can say auto because for sometimes you cannot say a data type. For example, when you are using a map, when you're using a map data structure to iterate to every pair inside of that map, you have to say auto because a pair does not have a is not an integer, it's not a string, it's not a actually we could probably okay yeah, auto basically figures out the type of this and then just does this without that. So we should get this as well. Okay, now let's get something that is not in the array, which is 1. We should get 0 like that. Okay, where are you from? Hello Shubham, I am from Eastern Europe. I am from Eastern Europe. And where are you from? Where are you from? Welcome to the stream, Shubham. I hope you are doing well. Welcome to the stream. Okay, guys, so we did that one. Okay, next one. Find the first element greater than x. Okay, first element. So basically, as soon as we find an element greater than x, okay, not like this. Int first greater, let's say vector int of array, and we're gonna say x first element greater than x. X is 5, we get 7. I'm guessing that there's always going to be a case where there's going to be an element which is greater than x. So let's say that our integrator is equal to array of 0 right now. I'm from India. I love India. I love India. I love India. Okay, so greater is equal to array of 0, yes. And then for every, okay, let's do it with indices so it's easier to understand. Size like this. All right, so okay, the first greater. So if array of I is greater than x, we're going to basically just return array of I. Okay, so we are assuming that, okay, actually we can return, but let's actually break. So what does break do? Break, basically if we say break, this means break out of the loop. So if this is true, this will break out of the loop at some point and all of the other iterations will not get executed. Are you in any university or what is your stream? Yes, I am in my final year and I am almost done with university. Yes, how about you? Are you in university or are you working? Are you in university? So, all right. So, for and this. Okay. So, I actually finished university. I actually finished university. Okay. So, and then we're going to actually let's say greater is going to be equal to array of I and then break and then we're going to return greater. All right, and this should give, okay, actually I haven't, this is not gonna give anything because I haven't just get passed out of university doing BTech. All right, all right, nice bro, nice. Okay, uh okay, let's see, what was I doing? All right, so C out first greater of R. Let's say x is 3 and this should give me 8. This should give me 8. Okay, let's say x is no, let's say x is 9 and this should give me 10. Okay, now I don't know if this function is completely fully proof against every single test case possible, but right now it seems to work. After DSA, what you gonna do, front-end developer or backend? I mean, I haven't decided yet completely what I'm gonna do because I have done some front end and I have done mostly front end until now, and I have only a little bit of back end, uh, and a little bit of full stack. So I haven't really decided yet. What about you? Are you front end? Are you back end? Or are you full stack? Are you front end, back end, or full stack? Okay. All right. Okay. So next one, we did that. Print all elements. Okay. This one. Okay, guys. I think I don't need to explain this one. Okay. So we're just gonna have an array, and we're just gonna display the elements of it to the console. So this is what 5, 10, and 15. Okay, then we're just gonna say void print array is gonna be vector int array like this, and then for each integer in the array, we're just gonna see out that integer, and let's say even with a new line, why not? So we're gonna print array with r. I'm full stack dev and currently working on my SaaS. Oh wow, bro. Damn, that's very impressive, man. Congratulations, bro. That's very impressive. That's very impressive. What is your SaaS? Like what type of product? What is your SaaS? Like what type of product is it? What type of what type of product are you making? Okay, so yeah, print array, so we get 5, 10, 15. Okay. Okay, next one in at even index. Okay, so basically, guys, we already did the is even check. We already solved a problem which is get all of the count all of the even numbers inside of the array. So I think we don't really need to explain how we get an even thing. Okay, so print, so wait, print even indexes or something, and then vector int. So what do we need to do? So now we need to use the index, so we cannot do this. So we're gonna have to run a typical for loop like this, and then we're going to if I, we can say I and 1, or we can say for simplicity, let's say if I is even, we're going to see out R of I like this. Okay, let's get this. Let's get this. Get this. Right, this. And then we're gonna say print even in this indexes of R. We should get 10, so 30, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 50. 10, 30, and 50. Okay, is that what we want? Yes. 10, 30, and 50. So find sum of even elements. So what does this? This combines we already did how to find the sum, and we already did how to find the even element. So I think this one doesn't need much explaining either. We are just going to check, we're just going to have a variable total, and while looping to the array, we are going to check if the current element is even, we're going to add that current element to the array. And if the current element is not even, then we're not going to do anything and just continue with the loop. So let's say even sum of the array, we're gonna say total is equal to 0. I'm going to say for each element, if and if it is even, no, not in array of I, then we're gonna say total plus equals array of I, and then we're going to return total. Okay, so all right, so what is the this, and then see out even sum of R and we should get 6. Yes. Okay, what happened? Even sum of r. Okay, this seems okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't do this. My stopping condition was not there. 6. Okay, let's add another even number. Now it should be 14. All right. Okay. So basically, I'm making my one-on-one B2C where people came to book their own appointment with consultant at anywhere in the world. Wow. That sounds pretty cool, bro. Damn, that sounds pretty cool. Awesome, man. That sounds amazing. Nice. Good job, man. Good job. Good job. And how much are you planning to charge for the service? I'm curious to know how much you are planning to charge for the service. If that's okay, if you want to tell me that. Okay, so find the largest even number. Okay, guys, so this is gonna be the last one. This is gonna be the last one for today. So we're gonna say int largest even number. We're going to say vector int r int. Oh no, we don't need this. So we're gonna say int answer is equal to okay, equal to okay. Let's say just hmm array of 0, and then we're gonna loop through this largest even number. Largest even number. Okay, we're gonna say it's empty right now, and we're gonna say I less than r dot size I plus plus, because if we actually what if we do this, if we say array of 0, this might be so because the condition is going to be it both has to be greater than the last element we picked, and it has to be also even. So it can be so only one condition can, so maybe if it's only even, or only if it's only greater, this is not gonna happen. That's why we get this. That's why we do this. And if let's say if not answer, we're gonna say our answer equals r of, if not answer and r of I is equal to is even, we're gonna say answer equals r of I, else if r of I is even and r of I greater than ans, we're gonna say greater than answer, we're gonna say answer equals r of I, and then we're gonna return answer. Now this is gonna work based on the assumption that there's always gonna be a that there's always gonna be a even number in the array. If we get input that is not containing an even number in the array, this is gonna break. This is gonna break. Okay, so let's say largest even number, and we should get 8. Okay, we get some garbage value. We get some garbage value. I like what I think, not much higher prices, like starting price 30 mint around 500 Indian rupees. What is the employment rate in your country? I mean, there are jobs, I'm not complaining. There are jobs. Okay, guys, I mean, yeah. this one we got kind of stuck on. But guys, this is going to be basically it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining. And yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day and take care. Bye bye.